Wine sat there, hood covering her head. Her two braids out of it, from the sides, and someone had their fingers running through the ends of them, checking, judging, caressing. JK, I can vision something better. Him, always 1 centimeter away from dropping aerospace and becoming a hairstylist instead. Wine, I refuse to become your muse. JK, yet you let me make every single style I want to try, he said proudly, and Wine leaned back into her seat, looking as cozy as ever, covered with a warm hood. The rain pattered against the windows. The black clouds outside brought a strange sense of comfort. The lightning in the sky matched that of the buzz inside the classroom. Jungkook got off the table and took a seat beside Wine instead. Always sitting there beside each other since childhood. Classes changed, but their seating never did. It was kind of friendship where their parents relied on them for taking care of each other, walking home together, skipping school, night outs, everything together. But they were there, always, for each other, without having to ask for it. He placed his head on the table, extended arms all the way, and stared at Mine from there, who was lost in the book, her bangs slightly covering her eyes. His heart filled up with peace, he believed. As long as she stayed in her vision like this, he could pass anything. The class started, Wine made notes, and he slacked. He was a student with good grades, but it was mostly because of Wine and her notes, plus his mind was always drifting off to people, their hair, and new hairstyles he wanted to try on them, especially her. JK, I think the princess updo will make you look cuter, he whispered. Wine, I'm studying, Jungkook. He pouted, placed his head on the table again, and started to doodle. She smiled. Cute. The teacher announced projects with the maid. It was an unspoken rule between them, always making group with each other without having to ask. And so what happened? Wine believed, this time as well. Stood up, wrote JK's name under her, and took the slip to the professor, but she stopped, found a girl standing beside Jungkook and talking to him. Jungkook's eyes shifted to Wine, and in that moment, she could read those eyes. She knew the meaning, and it was confirmed when Jungkook started writing something on a slip. He had nothing else to write in that moment beside his name with the girl. Oh, she quietly removed his name and turned the slip up then down. The girl, Sujin, happily walked to the professor and handed the slip. Wyan saw his name under Sujin's. Jungkook stood up, coming to Wyan. Take it, she said. Jihan came, grabbed Jungkook's arm with wide, excited eyes, yelling something like, You gotta see this, and dragged him away. Wyan exhaled and looked around. Now she needed to find a partner. There was no one. Everyone went along with their former partners. How is she supposed to find one at the last moment now? The work was too much to do alone, especially with her part time job. She sighed, went back to her seat, and started to work. Her eyes fell on Jungkook's notebook and the doodles he was drawing. She saw her face and a very pretty hairstyle on it. He always drew her like she was some sort of a princess. She wasn't mad, that wasn't it. Jungkook was free to make his own choices. He didn't belong to her. But this was the first time she had ever been left out without warning. For 14 years, they had chosen each other without word needing to say it. And now he had said nothing, not even a glance her way, before writing his name with someone else's. She flipped the notebook closely, gently, and leaned back into her chair, hood still up. Another day passed, then two, and then came the scene that hurt her most than it should have. She was sitting in the library, laptop open, working on their projects, hers, alone. Daniel, the only guy available, had been kind enough to offer help. But he was always late, always tired. It was the same rhythm she had with Jungkook. She found herself rewriting entire sections because his research didn't match the style or tone. Why try to focus on her work even if it frustrated her? She had to work late and then handle her part time job. The day started to tire her. She didn't want to care, but her chest did. It hurt. It reminded her a little too much about him. And then after 3 days, Sujin approached her, said words like, Jungkook is such a great partner. I was wondering why he is still single. He should be in a relationship by now. Why? That's his choice. Sujin, yeah, but don't you think it's because he's too close to you? It's gotta affect. Why? He can be in a relationship whenever he wants. Sujin, of course. But the other girls won't feel much comfortable with him hanging around with a female friend all the time, right? That night, Vine stayed up late in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about how she didn't want to. She liked him, Jungkook, but she was never going to make it a reason which stops his growth. Was she really the reason behind it? She closed her eyes and decided that the best way to love him now was to let him be free of the weight. So she stopped relying to his late night voice notes, stopped showing up early, stopped walking by his side when they left the class, not in a cruel way. But gently, softly, as if stepping backward without making noise. Jungkook, however, had never felt so restless. He tried again and again to try to her. But every time something got in the way, a call, a class, a timing mismatch, or worse, her quiet smile and polite words that told him nothing was wrong, but something was wrong. She was next to him, but not with him, and that difference hurt more than he could admit. He wanted to explain himself. God, he meant to explain. Another day passed by. She was walking alone, just a few steps ahead of him, her hood up. He sped up until he was beside her. She didn't look surprised or annoyed. Jungkook, you're not answering my voice notes anymore. I was tired. Wine said, you're always tired lately, he replied. Long shifts? She added simply. I nodded, but didn't believe her. They kept walking, in silence. The kind of silence that usually meant comfort between them, but this one was tight, unfamiliar, tense at the edges. JK, I miss you, he said finally, voice low. She paused. JK, did I hurt you? Why? No, why would you think that? JK, then why are you pulling away? Why? I just realized you're allowed to choose, and maybe you chose differently this time. That's okay. Jungkook, I didn't choose Sujin over you. That morning, I saw her crying and running away, and then she suddenly came up to me. I didn't know how to reject. She just begged me to do it once, and I'm sorry. I know I messed up. Why? No, you did nothing wrong. You're allowed to choose anyone. JK, I should have asked first. Why? It's not about that, Jungkook. I just. She took a deep breath. Why? I was just wondering if I'm the reason you're stuck somewhere. Maybe, like, you know, I know you're the kind of man who romanticize everything. So I thought, yeah, maybe I'm keeping them away from that. I'm getting in the way. Jungkook, you just decided all yourself. Wine opened her mouth to speak, but then it hit her. She was just trying to help him and step aside, but who was she to decide him for that? JK, seriously, Wine? Who fed your brain with this nonsense? It had been eating me up for days. Hello, everyone. I just want you beside me, with me, in front of me all the time. I want you, Wine, in every way, as a friend, a partner, and as a lover. The sky roared a little louder at his words, but nothing beats the storm that stirred up in her heart at that confession. He stepped forward, held her hand, and brought up to her chest. JK, I'm sorry, But let's just sort out whatever the problem is, like we did always. Let's just go back. No, here I was scared to confess, wondering it might affect our friendship, and how can you decide that on your own? He exhaled and cupped her cheeks. Jungkook, Wyan, I love you. Her heart came cracking down at that moment. It had been painful for her to distancing herself just to give him a chance with another girl's. Wyan immediately got in his embrace and held him tightly. She lost him. She nearly lost him. All over a misunderstanding and her wrong calculations. She held him so tight, fearing he might disappear again. He kissed her head. He was never leaving her alone again, like he never did before.